Forecast First, sponsored by Stanley Steamer.
We got two treats today, a gorgeous sunrise in the morning and a spectacular sunset this evening. I got some photos of that you shared with us. Check out this time lapse here as the sun was setting, the high clouds clearing off to the west, leading to those beautiful oranges and red colors this evening. Satellite and radar showing a little bit of light rain in parts of southeast Oklahoma, southwest Arkansas, but it's not reaching the ground. It's actually virga, evaporating before it hits the ground. Still as sprinkle as possible, though, as that weather system moves out. Another slight chance of rain as we roll into the next couple of days, and as we move into our Friday, better rain chances. I'll have more on that and some more of those time lapses coming up as your news starts now.
This is breaking news from KNWA.
We begin tonight with some breaking news. The Sallisaw, Oklahoma Police Department, they need your help finding a missing teen. 17-year-old Selena Rose Frank was last seen at her home yesterday afternoon in Sallisaw. She was last seen wearing gray pants, a tan shirt, and sandals. Police say Selena does take anti-seizure medicine daily. Now, if you have any information or know where Selena is, please call the Sallisaw Police Department at the number you see on your screen. Well, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight at 10. I'm Sonia Hill.
And I'm Doug Warner. Some big changes could be coming soon to one of the busiest roads in all of northwest Arkansas. You probably already know what it is. The city of Fayetteville moving forward with its efforts to rezone and urbanize Highway 71B, that entire corridor. KNWA's Gabriella Phelan learned more about the plan today, and she joins us live in studio with more. Gabriella?
Yeah, Doug and Sonia, I talked with one of the city's long-range planners today, and she tells me that about 600 acres is up to be rezoned along the highway. It's something that's been in the works for nearly 6 years, and it's just now starting to come to life. More than 100 red signs can be seen lining the streets of one of Fayetteville's busiest roadways, Highway 71B.
We've put out 128 signs, and in addition to that, we've sent out almost 1,800 letters.
Britton Bostick is a long-range planner for the city of Fayetteville. She says the signs are indicators of change coming to the area.
We're looking at taking a highway corridor into really what could be a beloved urban neighborhood.
The plan to rezone Highway 71B began back in 2018. One of the city's largest concerns was creating more room for residential areas, but most of the land is zoned for commercial use. Bostick says the current zoning is outdated and hasn't seen an update in decades.
If you look back at our 1970 zoning map, you'll see something that looks very familiar to our zoning map today. We know that Fayetteville needs more housing to keep up with all of our residents. So the primary purpose of this project is to rezone to a zoning district that would allow housing to be built for the first time in over 5 decades.
City Council member DeAndre Jones has lived in the area since 2006. He says he's seen people move to Fayetteville year after year. And now he says it's time the city's infrastructure reflects that growth, especially in the midst of a housing crisis.
Everybody in Fayetteville is aware, I'm sure, that we are experiencing challenges when it comes to housing. We are in a housing crisis. So it is time that we do whatever we can to alleviate.
The project is set to go to City Council this month. Jones says he plans to vote in favor and hasn't heard much opposition.
They recognize the need for housing and different types of housing, and so they recognize that we have to do what we have to do in order to achieve that. So most individuals that I talk with on a regular basis are very open to this new idea.
And you can make your voice heard on the rezoning of 71B at the Planning Commission meeting on September 9th. Bostick tells me that if all goes according to plan, residents could start seeing changes in about a year. Live in studio, Gabriella Phelan, KNWA, Northwest Arkansas News.
Well, Washington County officials also working on a proposal for a new zoning ordinance to accommodate the growth in the county without it affecting the rural areas of the county too much. The new plan essentially designates land around most major roadways in the county for commercial use. Now, this would change the current ordinance that was adopted in 2006, which says all property in unincorporated Washington County is zoned for agricultural and residential use. That proposal will go before the Quorum Court this month.
Well, KNWA is your local election headquarters. The push for constitutional amendments to get on the November ballot is still on, even after the initial deadline. For the group looking to expand access for medical marijuana, they believe their latest signature submissions will allow voters to decide on the issue come November. After the July 5th deadline passed, Arkansans for patient access was granted extra time to gather about 13,000 more signatures for their proposal. Officials with the group say they turned in more than 39,000 signatures this week. However, back in August, the Secretary of State's office sent a letter to APA saying the initial submission of signatures failed to comply with Arkansas law. In a letter, APA disputes the Secretary of State's claim and says they will challenge their position in an appropriate forum if necessary.
There are 18,000 of those signatures that are under scrutiny for the Supreme Court to be ruling on. But besides that, we still got 20,000 signatures, and we only needed 13,000, so we should be good.
The Secretary of State's office, while not giving any official response to the letter, says they are proceeding with processing what APA has turned in. The office has 30 days to complete the signature verification process.
Sebastian County voters will have a chance to meet with the candidates who are on the ballot in November. The NAACP will host a Meet the Candidates Forum Saturday, September 14th at the Fort Smith Riverfront Pavilion. There will be free breakfast from 9:30 to 10:30, with the forum running from 10:30 until 11:30. They will also have a booth where you can register to vote. And Fayetteville voters will soon hear from the candidates running for mayor. The Fayetteville Chamber of Commerce hosting a forum for candidates. Incumbent Lionel Jordan will be joined by candidates Molly Ron, Adam Firecat, and Tom Terminella. This will take place Thursday at the Fayetteville Public Library starting at 5:45. Well, spinal muscular atrophy causes difficulty speaking, walking, and even breathing, making everyday life very difficult.
That's right, but one Arkansas woman affected by the condition hopes to inspire others to not give up hope as she defies the odds and is set to enter a career in healthcare. Our Tylisa Hampton has the story for us tonight.
Ellison has spent her life bound to a wheelchair.
Everybody sees the chair, but nobody really sees who's in the chair.
After birth, she was diagnosed with a rare genetic disease, spinal muscular atrophy.
It just kind of weakens the muscles in your body.
For some, it can lead to death or difficulty talking, standing, and swallowing. For Kai, her muscles weakened in her legs, arms, hands, and it affects her ability to breathe.
My ventilator, it just helps with breathing and lung functionability.
But it's not just physical challenges she's faced with.
They always kind of pre-diagnose me with like, oh, she can't talk, or oh, she's mentally challenged as well, and I'm not.
A proven statement as her next journey takes her to the health field.
I plan to be a speech-language pathologist.
Earning her white coat after getting into UAMS College of Health Professions,
which is a symbol of the student's induction into the health profession.
The use of the voice.
The graduate school will give she and other students hundreds of hours of training.
They will be seeing clients.
Her goal, to one day treat others with disabilities.
I hope to show them that it is okay to be disabled. It is okay to ask for help.
Because she knows the power a cloak of compassion has.
I really just want people to see the person with the disability and not just the disability itself.
That was our Tylisa Hampton reporting. Well, Kai has 2.5 years of graduate school and a year of fellowship to go before pursuing a career as a speech-language pathologist.
Well, the month of September marks a significant time of the year for another reason, Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. The Arkansas Prostate Cancer Foundation kicked off the month today in Little Rock. At this special event, the foundation announced efforts to raise awareness and get men tested. Executive Director Chris Collier says getting men to the doctor's office is critical as this form of the disease is prevalent but treatable.
Prostate cancer will be the most diagnosed cancer in the state of Arkansas this year. Think about that. More than breast, more than colon, more than lung.
Collier says if caught early, the cancer can be reversed. He says the current recommended age for men to start getting screened is 50. but men at high risk, like older men, African Americans, and male blood relatives who've had prostate cancer, may need to start getting screened as early as 40 years old. Well, the Northwest Arkansas community coming together to honor the lives lost on September 11th.
We'll learn how you can take part in the 12th annual 9/11 stair climb at the University of Arkansas this year.
And the Hogs getting ready for their first big test of the season in 16th ranked Oklahoma State this Saturday. So how are the players feeling ahead of this big matchup? Well, we're going to let you hear from them coming up next in your Big Trail Nation report.
And we're already looking forward to the weekend. I can tell you Saturday's weather is going to be super. And we got a weather system that's moving in before that, and it's coming in from the northwest. So what exactly will it bring, and when does it hit? I'll answer that in your full forecast after.
From the state's largest sports team, this is your Big Trail Nation report.
You approach every game the same. If you get too involved in the stakes of one game, you're going to alter your routine, and ultimately you're not going to perform as well because you altered your routine. And so you approach every game as if it was the biggest game of your career. And so we did that last week, and we're going to do it again this week, and we're going to do it next week.
The Hogs going into this game with 16th ranked Oklahoma State, just like they did against FCS opponent UAPB last week. Well, they might be treating it the same, but there is still a difference in these two matchups. For one, this is the Hogs' first true road game of the year, and last year they were actually better on the road. All their away games were decided by 7 points or less. Now, when it came to closing out those close games, that's where the Hogs struggled. They were 1-5 when it came to one possession matchups, and that's something they've been working on fixing this year.
In each of those one-score games, if we had 3 plays go our way, it's a whole different season. It's a whole different result. And so succeeding in those 2 or 3 plays that decide the game comes down to your attention to detail. And we've worked on that all offseason. We've worked at that through camp and in practice this week.
I say the same thing, and also consistency come with that. You got to be consistent. Everything we doing in the first half, you got to be able to do it in the second half at a high level. And, I feel like that's something that we've been working on, and I feel like we'll get that done this year. Yeah.
We'll see if the Hogs can get things to go their way this weekend. Kickoff between the Razorbacks and Cowboys set for Saturday at 11 a.m. on ABC. Currently, Bet Saracen has the Hogs as 7.5-point underdogs to the Cowboys. Well, speaking of Oklahoma State, the Hogs and Cowboys won't just meet on the gridiron this fall. They'll also meet on the diamond, as Dave Van Horn telling the media today they will take on Oklahoma State for a pair of scrimmages over the Hogs' first bye week on October 11th and 12th.
We were going to go to Omaha and play in this event up there, us and Nebraska, Oklahoma State, and Creighton at the championship ballpark. And we were all invited, and I think it got too big and they couldn't handle it. And they kind of pulled the plug on it. So as of right now, we're going to bring Oklahoma State over here for a couple of games. And Friday's game might be a normal game, 9 innings. Saturday might be 10, 11, 12 innings, because that'll maybe be the end of our fall. Just play those couple of games instead of playing a red-white series where we always run out of pitching, and I don't know, we haven't finished it the last couple of years, it seems like.
Excited to see those matchups. And finally, let's give a little love to Arkansas soccer after shutting out not 1 but 2 opponents last week. The Hogs staying in the top 10 of those national rankings, holding strong at number 6. Like the football Hogs, they will be in action on Saturday as well, hosting BYU at Razorback Field, their last non-conference opponent before that SEC slate begins. Kickoff with BYU set for 6:30 p.m. I know, guys, a lot of people excited. If you're not going to Stillwater to watch Oklahoma State take on Arkansas, then you better go to Razorback Field and watch the Arkansas soccer team take on BYU.
With your phone in your hand watching the football game at the same time.
There's a lot of people that do that. When I go to any sporting event, I'm always watching a different one on my phone. Call me crazy.
Event? While you're at Walmart, while you're at a wedding.
Okay, that's
multitasking.
Exactly.
Don't do it while driving, okay?
Not that.
Not while driving, all right?
All righty, Courtney. Well, thank you so much. Well, guys, you may want to stay with us. Dan will be right back with his full forecast when we return.
Your Weather Authority forecast with Chief Meteorologist Dan Scoff, certified most accurate by WeatherRate.
If you were up and at 'em early, you got to see a beautiful sunrise, but probably maybe cashed in before a gorgeous sunset tonight because you had to get up pretty early. Here's a look at Phil Hamby's picture of a gorgeous sunset. Look at those colors popping over Springdale. And you knew the clearing was happening off to the west, so we had a feeling that the sunset would be nice. Here's Linda's photo from Southwest Rogers. And we got one more here. Courtney, we got a lot of photos, but I love this. This just looks like a Halloween scene. It makes you think of fall. Never mind the grass that's totally green and the humidity that's still up there. But it dropped down, way down today. I want you to send us your sunset, sunrise photos, any type of weather photos that you can. Scan that QR code right there so you can get our free Weather Authority app. And all you got to do is scroll to the bottom of the home screen and you can send those pictures and videos right to the entire station. Very, very handy. Temperatures in the upper 70s today. How about 77 for the high temperature in Rogers? And it's going to be just as nice over the weekend with sunshine. So it's going to be just a gorgeous weekend that you can expect. Lower 80s in Fort Smith, 80 degrees in Tulsa. Right now, here's the Bentonville Square. Notice it looks like they're doing some construction, a lot of lights that are going on, and that is looking off in the direction of the Bentonville Square. And I'm trying to think of my bearings right here. I think that's looking southeast. So yeah, that's the 5 and dime that's obviously on the right-hand side of the screen, but we're looking off to the southeast. Those temperatures are in the lower 70s right now, and we've got lower 70s that are in Rogers and Siloam Springs, and mid 70s in the River Valley from the Fort Smith Public Library. Now you look at live radar, it looks like some green that's showing up, but if we put this into motion and it doesn't move, that lets you know that is actually ground clutter. And there you see it just kind of spreading out over the area. It's actually moving in an east to westerly direction, so that's different than the other cloud motions. As you see, most of this energy is moving from southwest to northeast. So we know this is ground clutter, also known as anomalous propagation, just a fancy phrase for false precipitation, but it's returns on the radar. You see this down here. This looks like a lot more rain in southern LaFleur County, but it's evaporating before it hits the ground because this is a composite radar, so it shows the radars all around the area. There was a lot of rain from this system, and we saw that red sky at night, sailors' delight. We also had the red sky in the morning, sailors heed the warning. Well, there was a lot of rain, and there was some pretty nasty flash flooding in the Texas area from that massive system. That's moving eastward. A few sprinkles possible during the morning hours. Notice how the sky is going to clear throughout the day. So we got some sunshine. Then we'll see a clearing sky early Thursday morning, allowing for those temperatures to drop. And maybe a little bit of rain that starts to creep back in as another weak wave of energy swings in. We got another strong front that pushes in on Friday. That's going to really drop the temperatures. Look at those temperatures tomorrow, though. In the mid-80s, morning lows in the lower to middle 60s. Same story for Thursday. It's starting to feel a little more like fall. Now, this weather system that comes in by the end of the work week will really drop the temperatures and the low temperatures down potentially into the 40s in parts of northwest Arkansas. That weather system right here that you see over the northern Rockies is going to be dropping southeast. It combines with a larger low, and what that's going to do is push a cold front in. And this front's pretty stout, so it's really going to drop the temperatures, as you'll see on the 7-day forecast. For tonight, look at those lows. Lower to middle 60s, upper 60s in the River Valley. Tomorrow, our high temperatures hovering in the mid-80s. Pretty nice weather across the area, but it will be warmer than it was today. It'll also be sunnier during the afternoon. So a slight chance of rain in the early morning hours. Another chance of rain Thursday night, very slight chance. But Friday, I think we get a few thunderstorms midday. Nothing severe by any means, and that's going to be moving out. The front moves out. Great weather for high school football, feeling like fall again. Temperatures dropping into the 50s and perhaps even the upper 40s for early Sunday morning. Now that is going to feel very fall-like. Look at all that sunshine. Then we warm up a little bit to seasonable levels, but a nice weekend expected.
Even that kickoff in Stillwater.
Yes.
It's going to be like, it's going to feel like fall football, even though I know it's going to get hot again, but that's going to have the legit feels of college football.
And you know what I love is taking a blanket to a football game and getting some hot coffee or some hot chocolate. Oh my
goodness. Sounds like a plan. You got the fall colors going here.
I'm glad you know noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we're feeling it.
The fall attire. I know my wife, I got all the decorations out of the attic for her, so she's ready to do some fall decorating.
Oh, I
September
decorated
1st.
this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was
It's
ready.
time.
Uh-huh.
All right, you had the 3-day weekend for that. That was supposed to be your window of opportunity. So.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, thank you, sir. Cross-country teams from all over the area putting their skills to the test in the dark. We'll give you a peek with the lights on, I guess, into this year's Take Flight Night Invitational when we come back.
You're watching KNWA News at 10.
Right around the corner, this September 11th marks 23 years since terrorist attacks that killed nearly 3,000 people.
You know what? Can you believe it's been 23 years?
Time has gone, and a lot has changed, clearly, too, because of it.
That's right, but we're still remembering the lives that were lost. And to remember the lives that were lost on that day, the University of Arkansas Army and ROTC programs are hosting the 12th annual 9/11 Stair Climb at Razorback Stadium. The event will consist of an ascent of 110 flights of stairs and serves as an important reminder of the service and sacrifice made by first responders on that day. This morning, cadets with the university's ROTC program were on Good Day NWA to talk about the significance of the stair climb to the community.
Put themselves in front of the others. They're very selfless, and we want to memorize that by doing what they went through so we could understand the moment that they're going through it. We have the physical and the mental toughness that they are going through as well.
And everyone in the community is invited to join in on the stair climb. It starts at 5 a.m. on September 11th.
The Northwest Arkansas Community College and the nonprofit Thrive Athletics played host to the Take Flight Night Invitational tonight. Thrive Athletics provides affordable opportunities to young adult athletes. Tonight's event featured junior high and high school cross-country teams from all across the area. A couple of Gentry High School cross-country athletes told us this event puts a spotlight on the feats of cross-country athletes everywhere.
Giving it a kind of place and unique style to do stuff like that. Like, as you can see, we're painted. Some of the other kids around here are painted. It gives fun expression. And then it just gives that some people who can't necessarily play football or soccer or anything, they at least get to run and do something they like and maybe win at something if they're good at it.
Tonight's Take Flight Night Invitational is the first cross-country meet for the Gentry Pioneers. Schools from all corners of our area, like Eureka Springs, Greenwood, and Gravette, took part in tonight's Invitational.
Well, you may want to stay with us. Dan will be right back with a final look at the forecast when we come back.
Oh, we have been flooded. I love those. You showed some of them earlier. The sunsets, the sunrises have really something.
I mean, you don't get every day where you have a twofer, a gorgeous sunrise and a gorgeous sunset. It's usually one or the other. But we got both today. And tomorrow, I don't think there's going to be as nice of a sunset because clouds are going to be clearing out. But maybe they'll stick around just in time for the morning sunrise. So we'll see. Gorgeous weekend ahead. A little bit of rain coming on Friday.
Like it, like it, like it. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for watching.
Well, have a good night, guys.